Hi there. Welcome to Titan. Today, we're going to be looking at the Titan Sign part of our platform. In Titan Sign, you can create documents that you will be able to send to your end users, customers, whoever you'd like for signing. And there's a number of ways we're going to be able to do that. And we're going to start really at the beginning and show you from the basics up through more complicated features and how to get going. Okay, so let's get started. First off, I want to show you the difference between a static document that you're going to send out for signing and a dynamic template for signing. So the first thing we see here, this is a regular Microsoft Word document. And it was just created in Microsoft Word. It's just compiled of an image, a border, and some text. So this is what we call a static template. No matter what happens, this template's not going to change. Now we can of course add fields to this template so that our users can sign it, and we can add dates and all sorts of different items. But the template itself, what's going on here, that is not going to change. Now the next document that we have here is what we call in Titan a dynamic template. And let's just pull that up. Okay, so this is a template that, as you can see, was created in Microsoft Word, but uses the Word add-in that comes with the Titan package in Microsoft Word. And the way that you know that is because you see here that there's actually fields that were brought in from Salesforce using the Word add-in, and here is the Word add-in features on Microsoft Word. And here are all the different fields that we decided that we wanted to bring into our template. Now this is a dynamic template because it will change, the contents of the template will change based on what the way that we generate it from Salesforce. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to first take our static template, so the template that I first showed you here, and we're going to bring it into Titan Sign, and we're going to begin working with it in the builder. Okay, so here's Titan Sign, and what we're going to do is just go ahead and click on the upload button, and we're going to open this up. Okay, here is our static template, and as you can see, if I go into document and then settings, and it says here the type of template that we're using is static. This is a template that was just created using text and does not have anything dynamic that's going to be brought into this template. Another thing you'll notice here is that I can bring in fields from the actual builder, bring in new elements. So I could bring in a text field and decide what I want to do with that. I could bring in a signature field and decide what I want to do with that. And that's pretty much, that's how it works. So then we can decide what we want to do with this template a little bit later on. So now I want to show you, go back quickly to the dynamic template in the Microsoft Word Form Titan Builder. Okay. So right now what we have here is we have a bunch of different fields, as we said, and those fields are going to merge information into them from Salesforce later on when we add this template into our Salesforce templates folder. Let's say later on when I have my client go ahead and sign this, and actually I want to have two different parties sign this. Let's say that I want them to also fill in some information manually. So the way that we do that here is we click on the area that we want to do it. So I want them to fill in their full name and their email, and I want them to type that in later on when they actually go to sign this document. So I go up to Insert and Edit Interactive Field, and instead of choosing a particular field here, I just click Document Field. So I'm going to do one document field there, another document field here, and two more for the email. Great. Now I'm going to save my document. Okay, saved. And what we're going to do is we're going to go back now to another window in the Titan Sign Builder, and we're going to bring in this document. And you're going to see right away the differences between the static template that we used before and the dynamic template that we're now going to use. So as you can see, if I go to settings, it will tell me now this is a dynamic template. It's not the static template we saw before. And you'll also notice that these fields here to bring in elements are locked because I can't add any new elements to the dynamic template because the logic of what's going to happen in terms of what's going to be filled in here from Salesforce, that's already in the actual document because it's a dynamic document. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you now is a little bit about document access. So we're going to go back to our static template, and I want to show you here that if we go to the document, and now we go to document access, we have a few options. So a static template can be made public, which is what you would do if you just want to be able to send the link to someone publicly and say, hey, sign this document. It can be private, or and private has a couple different options here. It can have just the ability to be private, or you can put two-factor authentication on it, or you can do Smart V, or use a list from Salesforce. Or you can make it dynamic, which means that it's actually going to be something that you're triggering from within Salesforce, whether that be by using a Salesforce, the Titan button within Salesforce, or using some sort of logic within Salesforce to say when a certain trigger happens, it's going to create this document and send it out to whomever I want to send it out to. Now, if we go into the dynamic template that we have, we'll notice that when we go down to the document access area, it can only be dynamic. See, it cannot be private, it can't be public, because this document needs to be dynamic because it has to receive this information from Salesforce. Okay, so now let's talk about how we actually set this document up to be dynamic and how it will work from Salesforce. So first off, we're going to go to Salesforce configuration here, and we're going to select an object. So we want to decide what object in Salesforce do we want to have this document be generated from. For now, we're going to make it from the opportunity in Salesforce. So okay, so the first thing is, what do we want to look at here? We have Allow Salesforce button. So if I click on Allow Salesforce button, what that's going to do is it's going to put this template into the Titan button that you've installed from the App Exchange and put into your layout in your opportunity, if that's where you want to be generating your documents from. The other option here, and of course for more information, you can always just click on the little question mark here, and that's going to take you to a video that's going to talk about that. And you can also look into more of the tutorials for document generation, where we go over how to set up that button in depth. The other option is to toggle Apex Process Builder or Flow. And as you can see, when I click on that, I'm already getting now all of the Apex code and the Process Builder Flow code, the hash code that I need to then use that in Process Builder from within Salesforce. So for now, we're not going to do that. We're just going to allow the Salesforce button, and we're going to click Apply. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about document protection. So you see here, now that I have it on set as dynamic, I have two options. I have no protection or two-factor authorization. So it's very important to understand that if there's no protection and the email is sent from Salesforce or from somewhere else to the person that you want to sign it, they could then just send that email with that link or just send the link to someone else for signing, and then they could just go ahead and sign it. However, if you have the two-factor authentication checked here, what it's going to do, and we can look at this later in the overview, what it's going to do is it's going to actually give you, when you click on the link, it's going to say, please enter your email. You're going to enter your email, and it's going to send to the email that was supposed to be the person who signs that document. It's going to send them a two-factor authentication code. And then from that, they're going to have to go put that code in, and then that will verify that that actual person whose email you assigned this document to, that that's the person who actually is signing the document. Okay, so now what you can see here on the static template, we have a couple different options. So if I make it, let's say I make it public, and I just want to have a public link for this document, I can protect it by a password. So I can actually decide, I want to make my password 12345, and do that, or I could use Smart V. So Smart V, you can look at in Smart V, you can look at in other videos having to do with the form builder, where we talk in depth about how to set up Smart V. But Smart V will allow you to authenticate users based on an email address that's found in your Salesforce environment. So if their email address is in your Salesforce environment, you can then put them through an authentication process where you're going to send them a two-factor authentication code, or you can just have them use their email simply to log into the form. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about here is how to create the signers and the signees in your documents, because it's very important that you know how to set the different fields in your form to actually have people come and sign it. Okay, so what we're going to do here is, let's say we want two different people to sign this static template. So what we're going to do is, right now we have a place for, let's say we want to have here, not enter text, we want full name, and we want their signature. And now we want to also have another person sign this. So we're going to do another full name, and we're just going to copy and paste and have another signature. So now we come over to the document, and we go down to, let's just put the protection to none and make it public. And we're going to go to general. I'm sorry. Okay, so we're actually going to set it to private, and we're going to go down here to set document signers, and we're going to very simply do uh, sign one for the first person, and we'll do sign two. Oh, that's their email, so we'll just do sign@sign.com, and we'll do their first name is sign and last name is one, and we're going to do the next signee is going to be uh, sign 2@sign.com, and we'll make their first name signing 2. Okay, so now that we have our two signees set up, now what we want to do is we want to go in here and actually select our signers. So we're going to go to the first two fields, and we're going to select our signer. We're going to make it sign 1, and we're going to go to the next two fields, and we're going to select our signer and go sign 2. So now we've actually assigned these fields so that when it sends it to the first email address, they're only going to be able to fill in information in these first two fields, and when it sends to the second person for signing, it's only going to be able to go to the second two fields. And of course, this is if we're doing it manually and sending it, just to those email addresses we put in the form itself. Okay, so now what we want to do is talk a little bit about how we can set up these different fields to actually be dynamic and to have Salesforce logic deciding exactly who is going to fill out those fields. Okay, so now let's talk about how we're actually going to set up the dynamic document. Okay, so what we're going to do here is, as you can see, it's set to dynamic, and here is the option to add in signers. So let's make our two signers here. Let's do sign 1, and let's go ahead and configure this. So now what we're going to do is click on configure, and we remember before that we set up the document to work off of the opportunity. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to opportunity, And we're going to decide in that opportunity how we want to have that document assigned. So we're going to set our conditions, and we're going to make our opportunity ID equal the record ID, and that's how we know where that information is going to come from. And then we're going to go ahead and map our fields. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to map our fields. We're going to say, okay, this first signee that we have here, who do we want it to be? So what we're going to do is we're going to say that the first name is the opportunity ID. I'm sorry, the first name is the primary contact, and the reference in the primary contact is going to be the first name. Okay, so just click apply, and now we're going to do last name again, primary contact, and we're going to do last name. Click apply. And again, email, we're going to do primary contact as well. We want the email of the primary contact, and set the reference is going to be the email. And we're going to do apply and finish. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to add our second person for signing, and let's call this person sign 2. And we're going to go ahead and configure that. So now we actually want to decide, okay, where in our Salesforce do we want that second signee to come from? So let's open up Salesforce here, and let's see exactly where we want to bring that information from. Okay, so let's go to our Salesforce. Let's go to opportunities because that's what we're working with for this particular document. Let's go to a quote here. And as we said, the first person is going to be the primary contact. And that's someone that's coming right off of here. That's going to be Joe Bloggs for this particular record. But let's say maybe what we want to do actually is we want to bring in the opportunity owner for the second the second signee, who in this case is the VP of sales. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go in and we're going to configure that second signee. And again, we're going to add the same object that we added before. We're going to add the opportunity object because that's what we've been configuring with this whole time. And we're going to again set the condition the same. We're going to make it opportunity ID equals the record ID. So it's using that same opportunity ID, the same opportunity record ID that we were using before. And now we're just going to click apply. Okay. Now this is the part that really allows you to set whatever logic you'd like and to pull the information from wherever you'd like in Salesforce. Now that we just set up this first get, that's going to be bringing that information into those fields, what we're going to do now is we're going to add a child here. And the child is going to be account because that's the relationship in Salesforce between the opportunity owner and the the record ID that we were talking about before, the opportunity that we're talking about. And now we're going to go ahead and set a condition, and the condition is going to be that the account ID is equal to the opportunity, that first get that we set, and then the account ID. Okay, now we're going to apply that, and now we're going to go ahead and map our fields. So now all we have to do here is we have to, okay, so what we want to do here is set up owner ID and then make the reference. We want to make that the first name and apply. And you know what, actually earlier I had said that we're going to assign it to the opportunity owner, but what I meant to say is that we're actually going to do it to the owner of the account. So the person on the internal side of the company who's also going to have to sign it, and that's going to be the second person who's signing. So first, is going to be that primary contact, which is Joe Bloggs, and second is going to be actually the account owner from within the company. So this is how we can then do that. So owner ID, first name, owner ID second last name, and owner ID, and then email. And we're going to apply and apply. Okay, great. So now we're going to do just like we did in the static template. We're going to assign the different fields to the signees. So back to doc, go ahead and select our signer, click sign one, and now we're going to select these three fields and select the signer. It's going to be sign two. And as you can see before, the fields were yellow. Yellow means that the fields have not yet been assigned. And now that they're assigned to two different people, they're two different colors. Okay, great. The next thing I want to show you is the ability to style the fields in your documents here. So what you can do here is you can go ahead and click on any element on your page, and that's a dynamic element, and you can go ahead and you can go to the element and go down to the bottom and style it. So we can change, of course, the font. We could change the font size. We can make it bold. We can make it italics. Really, whatever we want here, it's all inside the platform. You could change the color to whatever color you'd like as well. And the background color as well, that's going to actually show up there. We can also set the tab orders so that everything is going to tab exactly as we want it in our document while our users are tabbing along to sign the different fields. The next thing I want to show you is the system value. So what you could do here is, let's say you have a field and you want it to populate with a particular system value. So what you can do is you can go and click on the field, click on element, and go to system value. And you can decide, okay, when the user opens up the document on a particular day, it's going to show the current month, the current day, the current hour, their IP address, and things like that. So you can, put into your document system values so that some of the information is going to generate automatically based on the current circumstances. The next thing that's really, really cool here is the ability to put tracking into your document. So if we go over into the document and we go down into optimization, sorry, not optimization, it's actually in document settings, document access, and now tracking. Okay, so when I click on tracking, now it gives me the ability to configure tracking for my document. So here we can do a few things. We can track the IP address of who signed it. We can have an upload completion log as a file. So it will upload a whole completion log of everything that happened with the document as it was signed into Salesforce as a file. We can also track the metadata as well. And we can add the signatures, so when people actually are going to sign it, we can have the signatures be on that tracking log in addition to that. So we're going to go ahead and click apply. And we're almost completely set up here. Just a few things left to see. So the next thing I want to show you is actually a little bit in the limit and reminder section. So there's a few cool things we could do here, which I want to show you. One is auto void. So if I click on auto void and click configure, we can set the document to auto void in 3 days. And we can also have it notify the user, in 1 day that, okay, in 2 days it's going to be auto voided. So we can have that as a feature here. So if you want to have your document, be voided automatically so that no one can sign it after a certain amount of time, you can set that right here in Titan Sign. The next thing I want to show you here is the auto reminder. So you can have automatic reminders be sent out to your customers. First reminder after 3 days, second reminder after 5 days, something like that. And you can go ahead and have that in your logic as well. The next thing I want to show you is actually the emails. So there's a whole bunch of emails here that you can customize for the different scenarios that happen with your documents. So you can decide, okay, do I want to have an email go out for the user sign request? Yes, you probably do. And user, when they sign the document, do I want to, what is that email going to look like? And there's all these different scenarios where you can actually decide and you can edit each one of these. So if you open this up, you can see here that we can set the subject. We can also put it into HTML mode, and we can bring in here the fields from our form and put them right into here so that it will generate a personalized email for the person who's actually going to sign it. Again, if you have any questions, you can always click on the little question marks in the actual Titan Sign builder so that you can learn about it in other videos. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is a little bit just of the way that we can actually bring in information into the form before the person goes to sign it, so that you know some information will already be there, and then they can also decide whether or not they want to actually update that. So many times when people will take your information over the phone, they'll actually get something wrong. So then you get the document and it's got information already filled out, but it's wrong. Well, here what you can do is you can bring in the information and you can have it already filled out, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And you can also decide if you would like the user to be able to update that information. So let's go over to Salesforce here. And what we're going to do is we are now going to set a get. Okay, so we're going to set a get here for this particular full name box. So let's set our get. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add the object. Of course, the object is opportunity because that's the object we've been working off of for this entire session. And the condition is going to be, of course, that the opportunity ID equals the record ID. And let's click apply. And now let's just map our fields. So we're going to map the primary contact for up, and you see that I didn't actually tag my fields. So let's go ahead, and what we're going to do actually here is we're going to set a tag. This is really important, and I'm happy I forgot it so I can actually show you. So here is full name, and what we want to do is we want to set a tag for this field. And the reason we want to do this is so um, when you go into the integrations, you actually know which field is which. So now I just went into advanced settings for that particular element, and I set the tag as full name sign one. So now if I go back to the get that we were setting before, and I go back to this here, opportunity, the condition set, we set it a minute ago, and now go to set mapping. Here it is, full name sign one, and now we're just going to go ahead and do the primary contact, and we're going to make it, the reference is going to be the full name. There it is. Apply, apply and finish. Now when the document generates, it's going to generate with the full name. A few other things I want to show you here is, first off, optimizations. So we have a couple of features here that are really helpful. One is the default zoom. So, oftentimes when you send someone a document, you want to make sure it's going to be shown to them in the correct size. So here we can decide whether we want it to auto zoom, whether we want it to be at 330%, whether we want it to be at 150%, whatever you'd like. But that way you can optimize the situation for when your signee receives the document, they're going to get it in the size that you want. Another thing I want to show you is hide reject. So hide reject is the ability to get rid of the reject button when someone is sent a document. So you can watch another video about that here on the question mark, but what it does is, instead of having the ability to reject signing the document, they will actually not be able to do that. They won't be able to reject it, and that's really helpful. Another thing we have here is the file upload ability. So to do file attachments, what you have to do is go to Document, Submit, and click on File Attachments. And now, just if you want to see how to set this up, you can just click on the question mark. But this gives you the ability to have people, when they receive a document for signing, they can also upload important documents with that. So sometimes, of course, you need additional documents to upload when someone's signing a document, and that's going to be really helpful in order to be able to get all the information you need, the signature and the documents, all at once. Okay, now let's see how it looks when we actually go ahead and send out our static template as a document to be signed. So I went ahead here and I removed the second signer so that we could just do one signer. We'll look at the second signer, two signee process with the dynamic template. And I also changed the email address so that the email address is actually a real email address that's within my Salesforce, so that we can authenticate based on that. So let's go ahead here and let's configure the Smart V. What we're going to do is select the object which we want the contact to be drawn from. This can be any object in Salesforce, and we have a lot of other videos in Smart V on how to set that up. So check those out if you're interested. Contact ID will be the value. Email will be the email. And secret will be a place in our record where we can put in a code. So that's just a custom field where we can send a one-time authentication code. I'm going to click apply here. Okay, let's go ahead and save our document. Document saved successfully. Now let's go ahead and publish. This will actually send out the document for signing. Okay, and here's our document. We're going to click here to sign. And as you can see now, it's going to ask me to log in. So let's put in Tighten at formtighten.com. Now it's sending me a code to authenticate. Code's 36552. Continue. Here's our document, and here is where we sign. So put in here, Ben, and now I'll go ahead and sign. Choose a signature, and click Finish. Now the document is signed, and let's see if we get an email telling us that. Great. Your document has been signed, and here's the signed document in a PDF, and there it is. Okay, now let's go ahead and see the dynamic signing process in action as we set it up. So as you can see here, we have dynamic set like we said before, and we have the two-factor authorization set. And of course, it's going to be pulling the emails and deciding who to send to based on the logic that we set in our form. Okay, so we're going to click Save, and now let's go to Salesforce to see this in action. So we're going to go to Opportunity because, as you remember, that's the object that we used here to initiate the process. We're going to go to Opportunity, and now let's click on our Form Titan Generate Document button, and let's see if our document's there. There it is, a demo agreement for video. That's exactly what we want. And let's click Sign. And now what it's going to do is it's going to send it to those people whom we wanted to sign it. And here it is. Good job. Your request has been submitted successfully. So now let's go to our email, and let's see if we got an email. There it is. You requested to sign a document, and here's the email. Of course, you can format this in any way you want, and I showed you that earlier in the email section. So you can format this however you'd like. Let's click on the document to sign. Click on email. Let's put in our email, tighten at formtighten.com. Click confirm. Okay, now a verification code was sent. So this is the two-factor authentication that we're looking for here. Okay, here it is. Security code is here. It is 63654. 63654. We're going to click confirm. Now we are in the document. Great. Here it is. Here's the document. Here's what we set up. Now it's bringing in all the information that we kept seeing before was just fields that said opportunity and name. Now it's actually bringing that information live from this record on Salesforce and giving us the opportunity to sign. And now, as you can see, Joe Blogs, that's the name that we asked it to populate for this document. And as you can see here, it does not allow me to enter anything for the second signee because that's assigned to a different person. So now we're going to go ahead and put in our email, tighten at formtighten.com, and click sign now. And let's make a new signature, do a little scribble, confirm, and finish sign. Now we've signed the document and our part of the process is complete. And let's see if we got an email saying that the document was signed. There it is. Thank you for signing the demo agreement. And now I just got another email asking me to sign it again. And that's because I put in, I'm listed for both contacts on here. But of course, when you set it up yourselves, you will have it, go to whoever you want, and it'll of course be a different person, and they'll go ahead and click on this and sign the document. And when they're finished signing, it'll be uploaded to Salesforce as the sign form, and you'll see it all signed in Salesforce just the exact way you want it. And of course, you'll also get that tracking log like we set up there. So you get the tracking log with all the information that you're looking for, and you get the signed form. And that's how it's done. So check out other videos, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. And we're really happy to help out. Thanks a lot.